Hello and welcome. Whoa, got a little echo there. Hello and welcome to the Hobby Corner. All of my corner hobbyists, how are you doing? It's Friday. It's 8 p.m. Let's do it. How are you doing? Hope you're all well. It's been such a long week, hasn't it? But we are getting through it. We're almost through the first month of 2021 as well. And yeah, I'm really excited for the rest of this year. We're really gonna do it one. So anyway, I hope you're all well. Let me know in the comments below, in what you're doing in the chat. Come on, let's get the hype going. Let's have a look and see who we got so far. We already got some early birds as well. How about that? We got Robert Marshall, Boy Captain Bazooka. There's me there, the Hobby Corner. Hello. And we've got Ravens Rook Miniatures, Mr. Adam Dodge. We've got the Pickle Jar there as well. Essex Boys, Pirate Queen Pickle as well. All absolute legends. Thank you so much for joining us. And boy, have we got a show for you today. Um, so, fingers crossed, everything runs nice and smoothly. And we'll have an awesome show. So I've done some prep as well. So G the Hyper Sapien, how you doing, buddy? Hope you're well. All right, we're just gonna wait just 2 more minutes, try and get some more people in, otherwise they'll walk in and go, what's going on here? But yeah, we've got an absolutely awesome show today. We've got an amazing guest, and I can't wait to um, bring him on and show off his stuff, and just have a good old talk about expanding beyond the reaches of Games Workshop and getting out of the Warhammer bubble. So all good. That's good, man. Right. Thought you weren't gonna make it, but unfortunately we had. Oh, we did. What do you mean? What do you mean? Get out of it. The cheek. Bloody hell. All right. Well, thank you anyway for popping by. Um, you know, unfortunately. All right. So you know what? Without any more pampering and buffering, let's just go straight to it, shall we? So I'm going to introduce Mr. Adam Dodge. And where has it gone? There it is. It should be up now. There we are.
Hello?
Yay. Oh,
Hello?
there.
Mythos is different, mate. Sorry, I'm confused. Kev, is that you?
Uh, how you doing, beautiful people?
Sorry, just bear with me. My agent said they booked me on the biggest show on a Friday. I got my t-shirt on and everything. What's going on? Sorry, love. What's going? No,
Clear off,
no.
you
How
cheeky
are you,
git.
mate? How are you? Good to be here. Really looking forward to this show. Actually, I know we've been chatting behind the scenes. And for people that don't know, me and Kev are already a mate, so expect us to abuse each other throughout this stream.
Lightly,
So
with some lotion. So before we go ahead, there is a little parental advisory thing to state because we're both very bad at slipping up, though we do try our best. So there might be some naughty talk, there might be some harsh banter or some slip of the tongue with bad words and stuff. And it is below the watershed time, so bear that in
yeah,
mind. And yeah, let's let's get on. So. Mr.
we'll
Adam.
be good. It's Kev's the one with the potty mouth, so we'll be all right.
I'll poop you.
Right. So for those who don't know, name's Adam. I with my partner Sarah, we run Pagan Miniatures. We produce um, basically alternative looking Vikings, so fantasy Vikings that very strong in the historical element. We don't have any of those daft horns on the helmets or any of that stuff, but they're still fantasy. I'd say 90% historically accurate, but there are a fantasy element in, like Hollywood Vikings. We also have a range of werewolves, and we are expanding. We've got our first couple of monsters so far. We're going to be expanding on that in the future, with more ancient European Dark Age type fantasy races. So,
Ooh, sounds good. Sounds exciting. So you've been working feverishly lately, um, and you know I can't wait to get to that. But first, why does everyone say Adam? How is Adam quiet? I've got everything up on max, man. I think Josh might just be messing with me. Anyway, we'll ignore that. Right, so you had a very successful Kickstarter last year.
yeah,
With the Varga, which is the werewolves, and with all the Norse themed Vikings and stuff.
yeah,
Um, they look amazing, by the way, and you also did some really cool little extras in there as well. So
yeah.
if I just change over, so let me just skidoo, and I get the pictures up. And oh, there we are. We're still there. Okay, cool. So yeah, we'll start with the Varga because they are absolutely amazing. We got the Varga leader here, and yeah, I tell you what, the pose is nice and powerful. He's howling away. What can you tell us about it?
Right. Well, the Varga themselves now, these obviously a Lycan type of force, but they're not shapeshifters as such. They're not humans that turn to werewolves and the moon comes out or anything like that. These are a race within their own rights. In the Norse world, out deep in the woods, they're larger, both taller and stronger than a normal man. Um, I'd probably put the leader to become the leader, to become the alpha of the pack. He's obviously worked his way up. You would expect him to stand sort of at 7.5 foot high, tower over you, be
Yeah,
as broad as two of me. I mean, this is a big guy. He has to run his pack. Um, in his pack, he's constantly under threat from his own beta, the champion.
yeah,
He's got to stay in charge. He's got to be the one that runs it. So, yeah, and as such, the one that's been sculpted, you can see there's no messing with him. That is,
yeah,
you won't find them. I know some people put weapons when they sculpt werewolves and stuff, but with this Varga, they haven't. They're literally just tooth and claw because their strength and size, they can just rip your limbs off. The scratchings for claws of that would be like a load of swords going across your chest. So they don't need to hold weapons. These are tough guys. And the miniatures represent that. Expect this because I produce the miniatures in 32mm scale. So he is about 40mm in height. He's a big guy. So
he's
yeah, big
absolutely
minute.
impressive. Yeah. And
Yeah,
you know, it comes with a nice base as well, so it's really thematic.
it is.
You can
Yeah,
really
scenic base. It's actually a 50mm base. That's on. That's scenic because I use the
not bad.
not the beveled edges. The roller base edge. I can't remember the technical term. A
Yeah,
lot of companies use them, not the Games Workshop ones, the ones that are more curved. And you can actually fit this base, the scenic base, inside one of them on a 50mm. So
ah,
yeah, he's
wow.
yeah,
That's a really nice model as well. Um,
yeah.
Next up we have the Varga Warriors. So again, another versatile set of minis here. I love the poses as well. They're all dynamic. They're all doing something.
Yeah.
And again, what sort of
So yeah, these
brought you to that?
these are the bulk of the pack will be made up. So um, are the pack mates basically. This is what 90% of the pack is. They're your basic warriors that fill the rank and file. Each one of them individually, although nowhere near the levels of the leader, obviously would still stronger than a man and will still be stronger and tougher in every way than a human.
Yeah.
Uh, as you can see, like I said, they're big minis. They are big, stocky minis. So even these, and these are the smallest minis in the Varga range. And like I said, even these, they average at about 35 mils in height. So they're big guys.
That is big, yeah. That's that'd be bigger than a Primaris, wouldn't it?
I think
Think
they're
or
about
about
the
that.
same as Primaris. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
Primaris is about that. I think. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So they're about the
Damn dude's got lots of filler in their feet, haven't they? Make them taller.
same. Yeah.
um, and then we have the Vargas Shaman, and again, I like the whole. I'm gonna F you up with some weird wolf magic. Yeah, grow some fur in some itchy places.
Yeah, well, the shaman would be very much the type of magic used is very much the druid type of magic. You know, it's very natural to do with the elements and stuff. Shaman is important in any pack because it's the only way you can get a skull involved in the army. A skull is basically a lichened version of a Jotnar, a type of Norse troll,
Right.
and it's big. And we're talking, you could probably peer in your bedroom window sort of size. We'll come to the skull later. So I know I said you've got a pic of one of them ready to show, but in order to get that, that is very much a wild beast. It will not do what anybody tells it.
Mm.
Normal Varga going up to that would just be ripped apart. The shamans are literally the only ones that can communicate with them. So yeah, very important for that. And of course, if you warband, there's no other type of magic user in the Varga warband but the shaman. So she is important to have for that one. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful sculpt as well. And then moving on, we have the Vargas Savage. So this one, he looks a bit hungry. I think they've not fed him for a while. So
Yeah.
what's this
Well,
one all about?
the Savage, again, he's bigger than the normal Warriors. What you'll tend to find is various ways, but basically the bloodlust has got too strong in them. They're outside the pack. They can't be relied to be kept within the pack. They will turn on their own pack mates at times as well. They've sort of been shunned by their society.
Mm.
Sometimes it's a case they were maybe once the leader of a that had been chased out by its by the champion when there was a hierarchy changeover. Sometimes it could have been a champion that had lost a
Yeah,
hierarchy changeover. Sometimes it's just a warrior that he just goes wild and he gets into his own head and he can't be relied on. He'll kill young of the tribe and all this sort of stuff of the pack, and so they tend to be shunned from society.
very
At
feral.
times,
Then
yeah,
yeah,
it completely feral, but at times of need, they will be called upon by the pack when there's big territorial disputes, especially between the Norsemen, but also other packs of Varga. Any savages, they will be brought into the pack for very obvious reasons. They do make up the vanguard of
yeah.
any charge. So, yeah.
Okay, all right. Sorry, I was just fiddling around with the setting just so we can see your beautiful mutton chops better. Let me just skip through the models again. And then we come to the Varga champion, and he's
Yeah.
having a nice little mid-battle snack there.
Yeah, there is.
That's cool.
There is a dead Viking at its feet, with minus his head, which, as you can see, is very much like Predator.
Yeah,
That one was actually a design by Sarah, so she had complete artistic license over this one going to the sculptor. And I don't know what the end was. What's more scary, the end result or my girlfriend's childhood, judging by the concept. But yeah, obviously you can see the Predator influence on it. With the whole skull and spine being ripped out. Now, like I said, the champion, they're sort of the pack beta, so they would lead the raids on into the local areas and
mm,
all this. They are the ones that are second in charge. You'll get ones that are absolutely um, that they are faithful to the leader through and through. Will follow their every command. Every will is done exactly as will.
yeah.
Sometimes though, they'll feel that need to take over. You'll usually find that whenever there's a pack hierarchy issues, a death of a leader or a leader that's caused a few too many fails, that's when the champion will step up and take the challenge. So yeah,
Yeah,
he's
and
sculpted to represent that. The actual mini,
I
I
mean,
mean, itself,
it's
due to its
great.
pose
Yeah,
and scenic base, I mean, it is about 50 mils in total in height, with his arm outstretched and on the scenic
it's
basis. He's a
it's quite
big
big, isn't
mini,
it?
like.
Yeah,
Yeah, a good couple inches, like. So yeah, yeah,
yeah.
got a good height.
Well,
Yeah.
if you're a champion, you got to have a good few inches. I could last. Look, hey, well, look, we're not even 20 minutes in. Oh, that's
Uh,
another. That's what she said thing. No, but like that is such an amazing sculpt, and I love the concept of it as well. And like the base has got so much detail, like the claw marks on the shield, and all the like
around
the
that mini. I
brickwork
mean,
and
the
that.
base. Yeah, the
Yeah.
base itself, like I said, that's another one. Most of Varga are on 40 mil bases,
Mm.
but the champion and the leader are both 50 mil bases. So that's a 50 mil insert to put on one of those bases or sit on top of a GW style 50 mil base. Um, and yeah, so literally on that is spread out. It's sort of starfished on the floor is a headless Viking. The whole thing's sculpted out. Is
Oh, just
beautifully done.
just behind all of that.
Yeah. As you look on it, you can sort of see poking out behind the shield the stump of the neck.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but it does go back to the. It's on the other side of that base. It's pretty
That
brutal.
is that is
Yeah,
brutal and pretty awesome, and it is really immersive as well. Um,
yeah.
so I'm just going to pause there just to say hello to Mythos from the Frosts and Fists. Sorry, somehow there was a schedule conflict, and I ended up with your guest. So we're just rolling with it. And we got Rich from Sprayback Studios joining us as well. So hello to you too. Everyone is loving the models. There's a lot of wolf lovers in the chat, so definitely ticking all the boxes for them.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on, we have the Varga Assassin. So noticeably, it's female. It's not your typical puppy style female. It is more sort of human style female, but I think it's done in a tasteful way as well. And
Yeah.
I like the hood as well, and it's yeah,
I
it's
mean,
quite a nice pose.
yeah, I mean, I know that tends to be people's favorite mini in the range. It's got that sort of old school vibe of the rack and minis type style that they used to do. Um, and yeah, basically she's a lot more intelligent than your average one. I mean, like I said, she is the assassin, so I mean, her job is basic infiltration.
Mm,
If a pack's going to do a raid on the village, that village is going to have a palisade around it. It's her that scaled the wall, taking out the guards and open the doors. They go in. She'll be there first, even before a raid. And Huskars will come out to find their Jarl decapitated in the middle of the Great Hall. She is very much a lethal and very intelligent Varga.
mm.
So yeah, there's no messing with her at all, at all.
Yeah, she
So
she looks like she's ready to start business.
yeah, I mean, she'll wear her cloaks around her to sort of move through the shadows once she's in a village to almost disguise like a human sort of thing,
Yeah,
trying to hide her muzzle as much as she can. And yeah, master of stealth, very very cute eyesight, hearing, and all that sort of
yeah.
stuff. Um, and as powerful as any one of the pack mates, can easily take care of the job once she's there. So yeah.
So I guess a question that might be arising to people is that these I mentioned before, these Varga are a lot more they got a lot more human features than a typical werewolf does.
Hmm.
Um, where did that decision come from, and where does that fit in the story and the lore of these models that you created?
Well, as far as the original concept style wasn't myself, you see, because I bought the range when it was halfway through. Have
Mm,
since added to it, but the lore for them, I mean, they are a race within their own right. As I've said, they're not shapeshifter werewolves, but you do get something that hasn't come out yet, which we're going to be releasing hopefully on the official second Kickstarter, which is now is actually going to be the third one. The second one we're going to get to, which
all
is
right. Yeah.
yeah, we are looking at something called Infected. We did speak
Right.
about it on the original Kickstarter.
Mm,
Now, the Infected are those that somehow survive their injuries from the
right.
Varga and do become infected with their blood and do start to shapeshift and change. So they're more like your typical werewolf, but again, once they change, they stay changed, but they don't go full Vargas. So they are smaller,
Hmm.
they're weaker, they hang around the outskirts of the pack. Then they leave their humans, they're chased out or killed. You know, if you find one of your family's got that, you kill them so they don't have to go through it. But the ones that run away, escape, survive, or get left behind on the battlefield do change and will end up gravitating towards a pack. Um, they're kind of like very weak versions of the savage, where they've got a bit more cunning due to their human instincts than most of the Varga pack, but are still much more. You know, they can't really control their feral tendencies.
Yeah.
So yeah, they would be. You know, they're pretty much almost slaves within the Varga. But they will be something that will be coming out soon. So they will look more human in their faces, but definitely you can see, you know, they'll be halfway in between from one to the other. Um,
And
whereas these are,
again, they're absolutely beautiful conceptually, and like the miniatures as well. They've really sort of captured that essence, and it's made for a more unique range of wolves for fans who love wolves or wolf kind or werewolves or Varga if they know more about them as well. So you really sort of put something like really exciting in people's hands.
yeah, thank you. I do like them myself, I have to admit. And that's what it's all about. I just want to make minis that I want to game with, you know,
Yeah,
I want to do stuff with. So yeah,
amazing.
it's nice when other people do too.
So
Um,
I'm just gonna interrupt here. Yes, Pickled, you can hear him now. The reason is because I completely forgot that when I first set everything up, I put a compressor on the desktop audio, and that fiddled with the sound. So now everyone can hear you louder than me.
oh, right. Okay. Okay. Well, that's
So
good for you
careful
guys.
if you do trump, they will hear it.
No, but it's good for the guys anyway. It's good. It's good for you guys because obviously, you know, you're more here for me than Kev anyway. So,
Oh, shots fired already, huh? And
yeah,
disconnect.
no one will realise that as a joke anyway. We lose you on streams all the time, don't we? We're lucky so far. This is the longest you've made it on the stream without it
Yeah, I
disconnecting.
mean, I did like mess around with the size of everything so you could see us clearer over side of the pictures.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, apart from that little bit of slow up, it's been beautiful. So
yeah.
I've been
Well,
tweaking.
I've got my phone here beside me, so I'm
Yeah.
just checking
So
out on the
we
screen.
got this big, big dude clenching a tree stump, a large tree stump. Um, he looks mean as heck.
This is Skull. Um, this is what I was telling you about. He's one of the Jotnar. Jotnar being an old Norse word meaning giant, often thought of as well as trolls. Um, and he's big. He's named after the moon that the wolf that pushes the moon because he had two wolves in Norse mythology, the one that pushes the sun and the one that pushes the moon. Skull's the one that pushes the moon. The actual miniature
Skull.
itself,
Sorry.
yeah, the actual miniature itself is huge. It's, I mean, most of the bars
I
are
can
only,
tell by the base. I mean, it looks like it will fit on what
that's
like
a 90 mil
a 90
base.
mil. Yeah.
Yeah, that's he is a beast. He's yeah. about 3.5 inches, maybe 4 inches high. So about the same size as Elston. So he's a big guy.
Rick Hills.
Yeah, yeah. But he's yeah, he's. I mean, you can see there he's literally snapping a tree. Now he was the one I was telling you. He wouldn't naturally side with Varga just because they're both wolf-like. You know, he's the same thing. Is he? You know, the individual Jotnars, Jotuns, they don't, care about the normal mortals and stuff like that, but they will follow the shaman. The shaman just seem to have a way to communicate with them. But at the same time, you want to keep your shaman alive if you brought one to battle because of it, because otherwise they'll just do their own thing. Very much. And but yeah, it's not to say they won't carry on destroying the well, I mean, they'll carry on. They'll finish destroying the Norse village. They were there. They were having fun, but then they'll probably take out any wolves that are too close at the same time. So, yeah, it's very much. I mean, you can just tell. I mean, the guy's head. I mean, I've painted one of these myself. Actually, I haven't got the pictures ready yet, but it's honestly just painting that wolf's head is beautiful. The sculptor has done a fantastic job with it. He really is amazing with it.
And the thing is, with larger models, it can be difficult at times to get the right amount of detail on there, because you want to make bigger detail to fill up the space, but you also want to get just some of the smaller detail in there, so it doesn't. So you're not leaving too much of a bland sort of flat area.
Yeah.
But it looks like they nailed it. Yeah, and you know, if someone wants to get a bit creative and whatever, and do a bit of freehand tattoos or whatever, I'm not, I don't think anyone could ever get close to one to tattoo it, but you know, there's plenty of space, even just to, you know, practice your blending and stuff as well. Because yeah, no, it
Yeah,
looks great.
it's a great fun mini to do. It is a great fun mini, and there's plenty of space around that tree as well. So it's like on my one, I've just added the odd extra little bit of like sort of bushy materials and stuff like that to make it a bit more realistic. So yeah,
It's
it's a good.
almost like a mini diorama, isn't it?
It is. It is. That's why I love it so much. It's done very well. So I do like that one. Yeah.
Right, let's see. We have the painted ones now. So we have, I believe this is the Savage, you know, kneeling down, clenching fist, and bloody
Mm.
cord. So who painted these?
This was painted not by myself. I'm not that good. This was painted by Angel Giraldes. The famous Angel Giraldes. If you've ever seen an Infinity Mini guaranteed, it was painted by him. He's the one that's hired by CMON and all the big companies to paint their minis for their Kickstarters or their promotional needs. So I think it's between Angel and another guy called James Wattle, who are, in my opinion, the two best painters in the world, those two. But yeah, they're definitely worth a follow. And I think most major companies have their minis painted by one or the other, depending on whether in Europe for Angel or America for James. So yeah, they're definitely beautifully painted. He's done a cracking job with them. He's made them just his choice of colours and palettes, because it's all chosen by himself, and he's really just picked ones that pop and they look great in the display shelf. Obviously, I'll put these on a different shelf to the ones I painted, just to so mine don't look as bad. Yeah.
But I mean, like the assassin as well. He got the tones and the like little shades and everything, just like
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. Like across the abdomen as well. It's
Yeah, he's
just
done a beautiful job with it, hasn't he?
it's so, and it looks so crisp and smooth. It's
Mm.
I mean, that must have taken him like, I don't know, too
Well, no,
many hours.
yeah, it's a very unique. It's very. I like his style. It's kind of almost anime, his
Yeah.
style, which is why he does all the Infinity stuff. So yeah, it's a really good style he's got. I do like it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Hyper Sapien was saying the leather on the legs looks absolutely amazing. I have to agree. Like even the weathering that's put on there as well. It's, I've got to do some lessons from this guy. Some absolutely amazing. And then we got the Varga leader as well. Howling away. and
Yeah.
oh my goodness. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I know you do amazing work yourself, and we will be showing off your work after, right? So everyone, hold on to your pants because you're about to have your minds blown. But I mean, this is absolutely beautiful work as well.
God, yeah, it is. I love this. Honestly, these are, yeah,
Yes, it
these
did
are
say it was
amongst the best
painted by.
minis I have. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely the best painted minis on my shelf.
Yeah,
You can't argue with that. I love having these there, and they're obviously what will be taken. When we're actually allowed out to play again, they're the ones that get taken to all the trade shows, so people will get to see these live. When we go to shows, and you can come up and check it out, his work out for yourself. It's really good.
that's amazing. I mean, we're looking at the other Varga, the Warriors. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm lost for words really.
Yeah,
Um,
it's just the different colours he's gone just to make, so they're not all the same. It's just slightly different skin tones, fur tones, but he's got the ones with the cooler tones, ones with the warmer tones, so you can get an idea how you want to paint your own pack. It's really, yeah, he's done a great job with them.
yeah, no, I mean, worth every penny, right? Bloody hell.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, so that is the end of the Varga. Evening, Pretzel, how you doing? Hope you're well. So everyone's loving all the miniatures so far, and they love the paintwork. And Rich is just like, Angel, get all this? What? So yeah, no, I mean, it's it's nice having talent out there, and both the sculpting and the painting when the two come together, when you get like best of both worlds come together, that's when you get fantastic minis like that.
Yeah, yeah. I have actually painted some Varga myself.
And you didn't share.
Nah, well, I don't know. I might have an old picture. I'll see if I can find it while we're on the thing and send you one. I think I've got one somewhere. But yeah, I went for a very different style because I'm going to have to. I've got the champion, the seer that I have to try and match Angel's style in. I'm dreading.
Yeah.
But my own personal, because I've obviously got a warband of my own. And for that, I've got a very different painting style that I've done them in. So I'm not sure. I'm just scrolling through my phone while we're chatting. I'll see if I can find a picture of him. There's some of the Vikings, so I might have one cutting around there.
Top right, the nose. Can you see out my nose? There you go. You're welcome.
Oh,
Okay, so yeah, no, yeah, Rich is saying he's got full on man crush. Boy Captain is saying
me or the
excellent
minis?
work. On unfortunately, not on you, on Angela, Angel. Is it? It
Ah,
is Angel, yeah.
I mean, I kind of get that. I kind of get that. He's a slightly older, less attractive version of myself. Yeah, yeah.
Are you are beautiful in your own bearded, crazy way. So,
Thank you, and I accept that. For someone that's been 23 for as many years as I have, I'm doing okay. Um,
I don't think you can cheat the chat in that though.
right, I think I found it now. I'm going to send you these pictures on Messenger, so I don't know then if you can link them on the screen. But this is my humble attempt at trying to paint the werewolves, but obviously nothing like Angel Dorades, where I've gone for a different style, trying to freehand to give it a kind of like its own fur texture, if that makes sense.
Right, hang on. So
So
I'm gonna
right, let me.
let's have a look see looks. So exit full mode. Let's get on to
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I only have the. Oh no, I've got a finished picture. There you are. So there's my attempt. No, I don't have the fancy studio lighting or anything like that. That was just one I sent when I painted. I think I sent that to Dan. But yeah, that should go through onto your messenger soon. It's not anywhere near as good as Angels, but I like it. The downsides of it, it took forever because it's all freehand. you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so whenever that comes through in your messenger, then that should be there.
All right, so everyone can see
Oh, I
my,
do know
my
that. I'm gonna
Facebook.
right. So while you sort that, I'm gonna chat in the comments. Oh, hello, there's Sprayback. I know, Mr. Rich. I know he's got a man crush on me. So thanks, Rich. Feelings mutual, buddy.
All right,
So
so here we go. We have the first one up, and it is, dude, you're giving yourself way too little credit, mate. That is really good work. You know, you got the tones right. You've given it a lot of texture as well. Um, yeah, how can you hate on that, man?
oh, I don't hate it. I mean, I like it, but it's not like, you know, it's on the same shelf as the ones Angels painted, and that is just a new level. But yeah, I mean, I like it. So um, yeah, that was my attempt at it anyway.
Oh, look, mate, it's absolutely fantastic work, mate. So yeah, you should be proud of that, definitely. I mean, yeah, the level of detail on there is absolutely crazy. And you know, it's not easy creating texture just by painting and making it believable. You know, or like
Yeah,
sometimes, you know, people like they paint hair on a space marine or whatever, and it just looks naff as anything. But to
yeah.
get fur and to get that right, and like the way you've made it sort of fall, like on the side of the thighs and everything, is falling downwards slightly. So you know, you've really, yeah, you've nailed that 100%.
Well, I think yeah, it helps to know the direction of it, which is easy enough. I got the missus to take pictures of my own back fur, and then I copied the what way the grain went in it. So yeah, that helped.
Right, so I'm gonna just exit Facebook now because they're trying to spam silly messages to get, you know, free exposure. Those cretins. You know who you are. Bad, bad people. All right, so we have done all the Varga, and like I said, absolutely amazing. So now let's get on to the other exciting half, and it is the
The Sons of Odin.
Vikings. Yeah, the Sons of Odin. So we have, to start with, we got the Gothy or Gothi, uh,
Gothy, yeah.
Gothy, yeah. So I mean, skulls for the skull throne, I guess.
Yeah, he is.
What is this one all about?
So well, this one is he is your magic user. Uh, he's the one that can call up uh, various elements and stuff like that. Uh, oh, hang on, what's Josh saying? Sorry. Right, I'm sorry, mate.
Did he
Yeah,
send you a message?
yeah. He's telling me to send you more on Messenger, so keep having to open your Facebook. Right.
Cheeky
No.
bastard.
Okay. So yeah, your Gothy is basically your magic user for the Vikings, the Sons. So very much your typical shaman. He has powers to call certain sort of wild mythical beasts and stuff to aid. He can communicate with the other races, you know, because there's lots of races in the Old Norse, including elves and dwarves and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's about the same time. You know, only a big tribe would, whereas everyone might have a Seer, only the biggest tribes have the Gothy. You know, have a Gothy to them. He wouldn't necessarily go out on any raid. He would probably only go out on the raid a Jarl was out on. So if he sent his sort of Thane out with some Muskals, he probably wouldn't be involved in that. He's very much at the King's, you know, the Jarl's side all the time. So yeah, and that's who he is. Obviously designed to not look like the sort of guy you want to, you know, introduce to your mum.
Well, I
So
mean, yeah, he doesn't look like a pleasant chap. Definitely not a dinner guest.
I did ask him to be sculpted with a head that looks like a character called Floki from the TV Vikings in the later series, and he's done a really good job with that. So, and he's managed to make him look like that. Who's and he himself, he was a shipbuilder, but he was very, into the old gods and very religious in the TV show. And he's if anyone would be a gothy, it would have been Floki. So yeah, he's done that well.
Or Captain Berserker saying, would some people call him Tim? No, he hasn't got the helmet for it, so unfortunately not. But yeah, if ever the inspiration takes hold, you should do an alternative cast of him, but with like the big old ram's horn like helmet as well. With Tim.
Yeah, yeah, with the leg up on their skulls
just,
like that.
just have a bloodthirsty bunny at his feet. Yeah, right. Now we have the Seer. Now this is quite an elegant sculpt actually, because again they are a warrior race. So you got to have that theme about them, but at the same time, a seer isn't really at the forefront of everything. They're more of an advisor and stuff. So you've got sort of the culture there, but you've also kept it very
well,
delicate and feminine.
yeah, well that's another miniature that was actually designed by Sarah. All the concept on how she wanted to, and there was a lot of going forward and back between her and the sculptor, trying to get various things, foot wraps and all this sort of stuff right, and the jewelry right. But yeah, she would be. I suppose she's kind of like the morale for the for your typical Viking village. She's your one that deals with religion. She does all the the foretelling. People go to speak about their future and stuff like that. She's kind of, I suppose, like a witch in a way. She can do a lot of healing and stuff like that in the tribe.
Right.
So she is an important character to have in the tribe for that, due to the fact that she raises morale. Generally, to have a seer, well, with a male female, obviously they're a healer as well at the same time. Yeah, and only the most, and this particular one, as beautiful as she is, only the most suicidal of men would probably go there, because betray her and you'll know it.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say, is that a head hanging down the side, or am I just not seeing it right?
She's got various bones and stuff. Yeah, and she's got some talismans and stuff there down the side. She's holding the ornate dagger. She has actually got a skull. It's hard to see front on, but yeah, it's like a large sort of deer skull she's got in her head, and she's got various bones and stuff woven in all the way around her as well. It's not just then like the plain thing at the back. She's got all these little bits and bobs, talismans and pouches and all sorts after, and sort of decorate the jewelry items in her. So yeah, she is a really good miniature. Probably also the smallest in the range due to the fact she is so delicate looking, which is what we wanted. We didn't want an overpowering beastie type of girl. So yes, mythos. So yeah, I suppose like a wolf priest, or a Kaplan in Space Marine terms, yeah.
That's not really what I wanted to go for.
So, hang on, I've got the missus chatting to me now. Yeah,
concept artist behind you.
Yeah, the concept artist. So
no, I just wanted for her. I see it as in that society where she would be born and chosen from a young age by the previous seer to be the new seer. So she would be quite literally raised to do this job, and she'd be taught from straight away about all of the different types of magics that are around. She would be so focused on the magic that kind of building her muscles up is not necessary.
Yeah.
simply because she knows that that's her only purpose, is to foretell.
Yeah, she's always better at explaining it than me.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was perfect. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, wow. Oh, if she wants, she can hop on and say hello.
Gonna come sit on my shoulder and say
We'll
hello.
pop the picture away. So I think it's only fair if you got a resident concept artist there.
Yes, you wanna pop in, say hello on the camera.
Hello.
Hiya.
Nice
So,
to see you.
so this is Sarah. For those you that don't know, Sarah. Obviously, technically we're a joint partnership. We have official titles. Mine is General Dog's Body, and
Right.
hers is General Buzzkill. So yeah, basically, she's the one that slaps me around the head when I get carried away and saying we can't afford that yet, and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, she's still very much involved in the whole creativity behind this, and she's actually one of those rare women that does enjoy painting minis and stuff like that. So yeah, they do exist, lads. Just hold off.
They
Yeah,
do.
I'm actually pretty good. I'm okay. I'm okay. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. I am.
Yeah, she's all
I
right.
am all right.
In fact,
I think
a
I've
lot
seen
of the
some of
people,
your bits on Facebook. So
a lot of the guys have seen it. I shared.
Thank you.
What did I share lately?
My mermaid.
Yeah, that's right. A mermaid you've done. I think some of you guys might have seen that. So, yeah, it's just a girl that only started painting when we got together, and has still painted less than 20 minis, and is already better than I was after my 500th.
There you
So,
go. Quality over quantity, right?
yeah.
Perfect. Well, you know what? Actually, you've just popped your face on the perfect side of Mr. Dodge, because now I can get the picture back up, and it won't cancel you out. So there we go. So there it is, the Seer that you did, and yeah, there you go.
Oh, there's about
That's
a 10-second delay on you. Sorry, she was just saying where is it? And it was like, well, there's a 10-second delay.
10-second delay on the video.
Yeah. Although that's the Gothic. Oh no, now it's the Seer. There we are.
Yeah, it starts from the beginning. But so there you go. I mean, look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Here's another exclusive. You got to meet the person who designed this beautiful miniature.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say designed. I kind of pumped Dan full of ideas of what I wanted her to represent. It was Dan who worked the magic.
Yeah.
Not me.
Oh,
I did not design her.
Well, I don't know. I
Still a
think
team
out of all the
effort.
ones, out of all the ones he designed, you had to go back to the drawing board the most with you, because you wanted her to be just right. So.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
She can't just be. It's not just anything's good enough. Not for witches.
Yeah, basically.
Brilliant.
Because well, Sarah's a bit of a white witch herself, so she knows what she wants.
Oh,
So.
right. Okay, very good. White witches are the healers and the more sort of positive forces, right?
Until you cross them. I never leave the toilet seat up now.
That is such a lie.
You get text.
Don't even bother lifting it. You just sit on it.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll have
don't
to.
give him ideas.
I'm that scared now. I have to sit to pee. So. Yeah.
Moving on. Okay, so we have the Jarl. So there are two forms of it, so I'll swap between them now and then. You have the one with the large axe and the broken shield, and then you have the one helmetless with a hammer and an intact shield. So where did this idea come from?
Well, this one, obviously, the Jarl is the leader. He's Viking leaders. I mean, it's like a lot of civilizations during the Dark Age. It was a nice idea that the next leader would be your firstborn son, or at least another son you nominated, but it never really works like that. So, yeah, Jarls, if they've earned their place through both violence and knowledge, their communication skills. They have to have everything in order to be trusted. They are very much the leader. So obviously at wartime, they're the general on the front line.
Yeah.
About the same time, they would have to have the know-how to, during peacetime, they've got to deal with all the silly little disputes with farmers over land and everything else.
Politicking.
Yeah, they got to do all the politicking
All the
stuff.
politicking, yeah.
Yeah, so so that is basically the art. Now, as far as it's concerned, it's always nice to have a bit of variation. If you were to have both minis, you can pretty much have any combination of head, shield, and weapon because of the way it's designed. It's basically a headless torso with the weapon arm.
Right.
Then it's got the cloak with either the bare head or the shielded head. And then you've got either an arm with a broken or intact shield. So although there's two set designs, if you were to buy them as metal figures, they come as one or the other.
Yeah.
If you have both, or when we talk about, I know we're going to be talking about the STL Kickstarter soon, you'll be able to make any combination that you want of it. So that way you can have whichever leader you want.
Perfect. And yeah, no, I didn't notice that was that had a bear skin head on the back. I think it's just hidden at the back there. But
yeah,
that looks...
basically, yeah, that fur he's wearing is a bear skin. So you can just sort of make out the head of the bear on the shoulder. But yeah, it's the skin of a bear. It's got its arms and paws there, sort of thing. Still, when you turn it round. So yeah, there's no messing with that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
So
laughing at Mythos there. He's getting really excited about it all. He's like, is it too late to upgrade my pledge? Oh, sorry, mate.
I know. Well, Mythos is already getting off the stuff anyway, so calm down, mate. You'll be okay.
I imagine they're all lining up for the Space Marine conversion treatment. But even so, man, I mean, they would make amazing Space Wolves, definitely.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Well, yeah, I mean, Space Wolves are basically Vikings in power armor. That's why I have to admit I do like them. Before that, I have a few Space Wolves myself, so I love a bit of Norse.
Are they the ones from that planet Fenry?
Yes.
Look at that! Wow.
Knowing my stuff.
Got a bit of lore and got some painting skills. That's it. Blown out the water there.
I know. Sorry, lads. I know you're all looking for one. There is one, but I've already found her.
That's it. Yeah, in the misty hills of Wales.
The valleys.
In the valleys.
The valleys.
In the valleys where it's misty.
With what?
I don't know.
I think that was where there was a terrible.
Where's Misty?
It's misty.
Where it is misty, but
where is Misty? Oh.
Yeah, but what it is, he's crap at doing a Welsh accent.
I'm crap at any accent, really. I'm crap at my own accent half the time. I float in and out of other accents. It's ridiculous.
He's from High Wycombe, which is basically another Luton.
Oh.
Just round the corner.
I've only been here 3 years. I'm a West London boy.
Hey, yeah, he's one of the posh ones.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the posh council estates.
Yeah.
Oh, anyways, moving on. In Western London, I don't know. I can't ruin that. I can't butcher that tune. Never mind. Anyway, the Thane, isn't this a great model? Dual wielding,
yeah,
badass. He's pointing at someone saying, "Go chop them over there. I'm busy over here."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean the Thane he's basically one of. Well, she would be my Thane. Yeah, the Thane is basically the usually the best, strongest, smartest out of the Huskarls that gets selected to be the personal bodyguard to the Jarl.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose most people have heard of Thane. If you've ever played Skyrim, you get that pretty girl as a Thane just after you went Whiterun. What's her name again? Lydia as a Thane. So for any Skyrim, you're all used to the and that's who he is. So he would lead the smaller raids, stuff like that. The ones that either the Jarl doesn't need to piss about with.
Yeah.
He can. Chances are it's going to be him chopping the head off someone that's been punished for whatever reason, you know. And yeah, he does the down and dirty work under the Jarl's orders. His most trusted sort of advisor, friend,
It's definitely
bodyguard.
not
Yeah.
to be messed with at all.
No, and he's again one of my favourite mini this range. I absolutely love that guy. Dan just
It is
really
quite
sculpted it.
a powerful,
Yeah.
commanding stance as well. You know, he's just like he's there. He's quite chilled, but at the same time, he's like, do what you're told. Go act
Kind
them
of.
up.
Kind of like Commander Riker to Jean-Luc Picard.
Oh my gosh, she's showing off all her knowledge now. Look at that.
I'm such a geek.
All right. Well, let's not try and break the internet too soon, shall we? Because we've got still plenty more to go through.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have some extra weapons options here. So you were saying before, like some people like to swap bits in and out and that. So you've got some shields, bows, axes and hammers, spears as well.
Yeah.
It looks like some farm tools as well.
Well, I mean,
halberd
yeah,
sort
you've got a
style.
few different sort of stuff. I mean, most of them are based sort of around the axes and stuff like that. But all right, I'll see you in a bit. Say goodbye.
Oh yeah, bye.
Bye. Thank you for being on the show.
Yeah. No, she's only going back to carry on. My eldest is there. They're both playing Minecraft together, and she's obviously fed up of hiding in the hole and wants to go out and play. So anyway, yes. So the weapons pack, basically, this was a stretch goal on the original Kickstarter. For those who want to, I know a lot of people like to convert minis, make them a little bit unique. Now we're going to make this a stretch goal as well on the digital Kickstarter. So they're going to come. I'm speaking to the sculptor. I want to get two versions of every weapon.
Yeah.
So one as they are, and one with just a single fist holding it. So you can just literally do a hand swap, chop the hand off, glue it on, or for those that know how to, they can cut it on before printing them. For the ones I can't figure that. I just chop them off and glue them. But you know, those who are better at a computer with me can do it that way when it comes to the digital stuff. But yeah, that will be a stretch goal. If we hit enough, we'll make that available again, because it's customizing everything. You know, if you want to make a larger army, it helps to have different weapons, so you can take a guy holding an axe in each hand and now swap one of those axes for a shield, or another axe could be swapped for a sword, or whatever, you know, and just so you've got more choice without having duplicate minis, because that's one thing I've never enjoyed, is painting the same sculpt. You know, it's like once I've done a sculpt, I want to do a different sculpt, you know. Reason why I don't have a Napoleon.
I just remembered, because the way Streamlabs works is you can only have so many pictures on a slideshow thing. So I've got some of the other Viking troops on the first reel, and then so I've gone back onto those, so show off some more of the Bondi and the Huskarls and all that, and then we can get onto the named character and the special and everything like that as well.
Yeah.
So we have various options for the Bondi. What's the history of the Bondi?
Okay, so you know, you don't really have a standing army in the Dark Ages. Too expensive. You know, you can't. You can only pay so many people to be a full-time soldier. The vast majority of any Viking force, both historically and therefore in our line as well, were actually just in their day jobs. They were farmers, they're coppers, you know, fishermen, everyday people, and that's what these were. They tend to have simpler weapons. Their axes won't be as grand as the fancier stuff, because they were woodcutters in that job. They might just have a basic spear. A lot of them will have bows and arrows from hunting.
Yeah.
So they tend to make up your main rank and file. So you, in our range, we got two with spears, two different ones with an axe and shield, and two different ones with bows. And again, they can just make up your rank and file. And with the weapons pack, you can obviously have a slight more option and variation for them. You can swap a spear for an axe and all. And also that's why they don't necessarily, some of them look quite young. We've got one looking, I wanted the sort of haircut that Björn had on the first 2 seasons of Vikings, where sort of actually all shaved off with the back half and comes around there.
Yeah.
Sort of he's holding the shield up with a young lad. Another one looking like a young Ragnar.
Shield, like,
Yeah. But then you've got your one. I mean, you've got one of them that looks a bit like Normski. You know, he's balding and a chunky guy, a bit of a pot on him. And so one of the spearmen. So yeah, we've got a little bit of everything because, like I said, these are your basic villagers. They therefore actually made up most of your force. So yeah, not as quite well trained, but obviously being Viking, they're still tougher than everyone else around. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. My Viking blood roots, but yeah. So yeah, screw you, Saxons. No, but yeah. So the Bondi make up the best. Now, the next level up of soldiers, I don't know if you've got any to show off, but they would be your Huskars.
Huskars, got them up now. Yeah.
Yeah. Now your Huskars. They are very much, they would be your standard soldiers. I mean, but a Jarl might only have half a dozen of them at most because they are full-time soldiers. They live in the Longhouse, in the Jarl's Longhouse, and they are the town security, in peacetime. They're the ones that patrol. They're the ones that make sure everything's in order. They guard the Jarl. They're there to, if there's any disciplinary stuff going on, they can carry it out, run the prisons and all that sort of stuff. And of course, they are part of the Jarl's own personal bodyguard and fighting force when they go out. They therefore, they therefore, have the better weapons because their trade isn't then woodcutters, their trade is soldier. So their weapons will very much reflect that. They will have what limited armor that they wore, and then, they're the ones that can afford a helmet or chainmail.
Yeah.
Whereas the others can't. So they are the daddies of your force. They're your main fighting, your elites sort of thing. If your Bondi are your, I suppose in the Games Workshop terms, your tactical squad is your Bondi, and your Terminators are your Huskars.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Lovely sculpts, and they're all quite dynamic as well.
Yeah, all very dynamic. I do like that. Good thing I've actually done arm swaps on them already. I've got a couple. I've literally just taken one. One left arm holding an axe and putting the left arm holding the shield and all that bit of putty does the job. But again, with the weapons pack, you can do that even more so and a little bit easier. So yeah, I do like. I've got quite a few of these painted up with different versions. The other troop type we've got another more an elite source. I've seen the pictures cycling through.
Yeah.
So I'll talk about them now. Is the speeders. Now the speeders live outside of the main villages. Are very sort of isolated guys. They just like to live off the land, do their own thing. But they also make, due to that, they are fantastic sort of scouts for any force.
Yeah.
They're still Viking. They will go on any raid. They just can't be asked with the town politics. Will live by themselves when not raiding. But they do go on the raids, and they're always the first ones that you'll call on when they need any sort of form of infiltration or scouting, any sort of information like that. They can literally move about, without being seen, completely at one with the land. Surviving days out of camp, off their own backs through enemy land and getting the information that's needed back to the Jarl. So yeah, we got a couple speeders.
One thing I do like is that you have got the arrow on there as well, and not a lot of minis, especially with Games Workshop don't usually put arrows on the minis because it's quite a smaller, delicate thing. This arrow looks like it could take out Varga. It's like a mini spear. It's absolutely like that is going to take something out.
Well, it needs to. I mean, that's exactly what it's for. So, I mean, the speeders are your first and foremost to come across any Varga. Being isolated. And, the speeders that have reached the age, you can see they're both looking quite mature.
Yeah.
You know, that's not a job for a juvenile. It's ones that have reached that age can really handle themselves and can take on a Varga if necessary.
Yeah, absolutely
and they're-
amazing models.
Yeah, they're kind of very much, and also the accuracy with the bow. They're very much like your sniper version of a Viking warrior. You know, they are the sort of snipers in it. Their bow accuracy is much better than your typical Bondi or anything like that. Because these guys, you know, a Bondi will hunt a deer, Speeder will shoot that deer in its eye. You know, it's whilst it's running across, you know, through the forest. You know, so that's the sort of guys they are. They really they know their stuff. So yeah.
And now another infamous unit type, something that people probably would have heard of from Norse legend, and that is the Shield Maiden. So a warrior of you know renown, of the
Well, some of
female
them
kind.
were, yes. Shield Maidens themselves was just a name given to warrior women. So, you know, rather than referring to them as Bondi or Huskars or whatever, now there's actually a total of two, although one of them is exclusive, which is basically because of it. There's a couple of exclusives. It's basically me and Sarah in miniature form.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other
We'll
Shield
get into
Maiden,
that in a bit.
the one you've got on the screen now, she was actually taken straight from some artwork that we've got, concept art that we've got. She's fantastic. Got her head sort of shaved at one half of it and all that. And yeah, she's very much a female Huskar. She, you know, a warrior of renown. People know her name, like you said. Shield Maidens. You know, the Vikings weren't a particularly sexist nation. You know, there is evidence that some women did actually fight, and certain famous shield maidens throughout their lore. So yeah, it only seems right to have one. You know, again, it's not like they would form a separate unit or anything. They literally they'll fight alongside men. You know, if you know there's a you know genetically men have an advantage over strength of women. So put it this way: if a woman's made it and she's one of those girls,
She's tough as.
yeah, there's no question of it. There's no special treatment needed. She can handle her own. That's basically what it's about. Yeah,
Absolutely amazing.
yeah.
And we also have the Berserker as well. So this is like he looks like he's about to split someone from head to groin. Two-handed, giant axe, leaping off a rock.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, this Berserker, yeah, he was actually, the concept for him was actually a character Matthew McConaughey played. He did a film, it was a British film about dragons.
Yes, yeah. Rain of Fire.
Rain of Fire, yeah. And there was an iconic scene at the end. Looking at that Berserker now, I'm sure you guys will recognize it.
Yeah.
He was basically, yeah, based very much on that when he leaps off the building in a sacrificial death. But
In a pointless way, but he went out looking like a badass, you know, a really dumb
while you're
badass.
doing it. Yeah. I mean, if they pulled it off, fair play, but it didn't quite work in the film. But, well, spoilers. But yeah,
Well,
it's
yeah, at least what 15 years too late for a spoiler.
yeah, yeah. But to be fair, yeah, I mean, Berserkers obviously in Viking lore, they were the ones that made up the front of the battle. They would eat the mushrooms, be tripping their nuts off on them, and
we're
go into
past
battle.
9, mate. It's okay. You can let it slip.
Yeah, that's it. It's their bloodlust is at the front. There was a very famous Viking. I say famous, nobody knows his name. A very famous unnamed Viking Berserker at the Battle of Stamford Bridge. He was the main reason, really, this one Viking, why the Saxons lost to the Normans in the Battle of Hastings, because before that, Harold Godwinson had to march up and battle Harold Hardrada's army.
Yeah.
Which, you know, not many people know the history. So just as a quick summary, half their army was lost fighting that before. They then had to march all the way down to Hastings and take on the Normans. So you can imagine the poor Anglo-Saxons were knackered by this point,
Yeah.
lost half their forces, and it was basically he was the single Viking berserker that stood on this bridge. And accounts from Saxons, because you have to rely on them. The Vikings didn't really write their lore, but accounts from the Saxons is literally he killed dozens and dozens and dozens. He spent all day on this bridge, and they ended up killing him by sneaking underneath the bridge and stabbing up through it with a spear to hit him in his groin. So the sneaky way, and that's actually how they had to kill him. But what he did do is he allowed a lot of Harold Hardrada's army to then flee, because they were surprised. It was a morning raid, they're all at camp, and he basically sacrificed himself to do that. And so, of course, berserkers are awesome. And I've got an awesome berserker, thanks to Dan Skelton.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's a great little tribute to both those influences.
Yeah.
So Raven's Rook Miniatures saying, okay, can these come printed, or do I need to find someone who will print them for me? Oh, we'll get to that very soon. We're almost, yeah. All right. So I've just looped around to the Varga. We can get back to the rest of those. Oh no, it was that one. Yes. So we got to past the thing, past the weapons, and we come to Grook One Eye.
No, Grook One Eye. He was just thrown in at the Kickstarter right at the very end. Not actually a Viking as such, but he will be in the future as part of a mercenary pack, which is going to have maybe Vikings that have worked away and all this sort of stuff and have their own type of, you know, they've worked in foreign lands and all this. So there will be some. It's where I've wanted to bring in a little bit more fantasy element in, a little bit of a nod to certain stuff. You know, there will be one eventually that might resemble the Witcher-ish, you know, various other sort of Skyrim characters. And do you know what I mean? It's going to be, so he's just part of this mercenary where I wanted to go a bit full on fantasy Viking with one.
Yeah, it's very much
a fantasy barbarian, sorry.
Barbarian, yes. It's got all the tropes of a barbarian.
Yeah, my caster, a guy called Chris Nichols from Macrocosm Miniatures, who currently casts all my minis. He just he nicknamed him Carl Drogo before he knew what any of the miniatures were called, just so he could say, "Oh, we need 20 more Drogos," you know. And so, yeah. So he, just because of the way he's built, he is an absolute meathead.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's good. So he was a little bonus one. He will be on this STL Kickstarter as a stretch goal if we hit a certain target, because he's due to be on officially the Kickstarter afterwards. But because I've already done and released him on the first one as a stretch goal, I will be putting him in then as a stretch goal on this one, along with the Norse Elf, if you have a picture for that.
The Norse Elf up now.
Yep.
Beautiful model. I mean, like,
well,
from the rock and the carvings all the way up to the flowing cape and
there's going to be there's going to be again on a future Kickstarter. There's going to be packs of dwarves and elves and all this, the other races that they had in Norse mythology. You know, not all of this stuff was invented with Tolkien. He took it all from older actual myths and legends, and elves have been around for thousands of years. And of course, but this is very much a Norse elf. This was a little teaser that was again thrown in last minute as a stretch goal on the previous one. So therefore, on this STL Kickstarter, if we, you know, she will be put on as a stretch goal to get it in, because she's a lovely mini. It's actually quite tall. The mini itself, obviously, we're to have the physical mini that I've got is pretty heavy because it's a big lump of rock. It's quite a heavy set mini, to be honest, but she's worth it though. Beautifully done.
And
I like,
you were saying that they're all metal minis as well. Are they pewter? Or...
Yeah, the standard white metal that casts in.
So
we do eventually. We do eventually want to have the entire range in resin alongside metal. But at the moment, as we're just starting out as a company, resin's just it's too expensive for us to actually produce them in resin. It's very expensive to do. I put it this way: the quotes I got for my minis, if you were to look at the prices they were on the previous Kickstarter, most of the minis would have cost me more than I was selling them at to make in resin. So yeah, and then I've got to mark them up. So it just becomes it's so expensive. Most people aren't that interested. They'll just get one or two. And I really wanted people to get warbands, you know, and have a dozen of them, you know. So to see people, whether they're playing Frostgrave, Ragnarok, or you know, using them as untamed beasts or whatever they wanted to do, as you know, in other games.
Them in, get them hooked on that sweet sort of mythical Norse theme, and then go bam, here we go. Here's the real stuff coming out in resin, old batch made, and boom, give it to you.
Yeah,
Awesome price, and then just rule the world.
Yeah, I mean, once we've got our own game for it and all that, we'll have all the miniatures ready, and we can create our own lore and have our own little skirmish going for it. But at the end of the day, I don't want people to necessarily be buying up my minis just to play my game. I want to see pictures on Facebook, be scrolling through, and front page on Frostgrave or something like that, and just, hey, that's my mini, cool, you know. So I just want
to even for like Dungeons and Dragons or like
exactly
Warhammer Quest or something like that. These are great fill-ins.
These days, I only tend to buy miniatures if I can use them in at least two different games. Otherwise, they're not cost effective, and therefore I won't buy into games where I can only use one manufacturer. And do you know what I mean? Something like that. So it because that's not my thing. I like the idea of being unique, being different to everyone else, having my own sort of forces. You know, it's just one of those things. I mean, I think with the exception of a couple of games like Blood Bowl or whatever, you know, but again, there's so many other good alternative teams you could buy to proxy in, you know. But it's ideally, I want to have as many choices. So the minis I create, therefore, I'm trying to create them where you'll think, well, yeah, I can use them for, I can use them in Saga and, you know, a couple of historical games like that, like, you know, Line Rampart and stuff. And actually, I could also use them for a warband in Frostgrave or Ragnarok or Mordheim, you know, anything like that. So
it's like, have you seen the absolutely random psychotic chicken team that's made as a replacement for goblins?
Yeah,
that's a good example of that, isn't it? Just like a proxy, but everything sort of suits what it's supposed to be. But it's absolutely mental that the concept of it, you know, that's what I like about
there's some great guys out there like Grebo Miniatures and stuff like that just concentrate in these fantasy football teams, and that's just a great ones. There's been some good ones on Kickstarter. There was one by a Spanish company, and they basically look like a team of Ben 10 characters. You know, they had a little shell helmet and everything. I was almost like, should I get a team of that for my lad? Because, you know, at the time, my eldest Aaron was much younger then and knew about Ben 10. And he was the sort of age for it at the time. And I was like, I almost got a team just for him to do. So, yeah, there's some really good ones out there. I know also a lot of people back by Varga for the basic warriors and the savage and all this sort of stuff to make a Blood Bowl team out of, using as werewolves, Blood Bowl. So I know there's a lot of Blood Bowl players that like my wolves. So yeah, there is that.
Yeah, excellent. We got one question from Mr. Robert Marshall. He asked, would you think about doing characters you know? Sorry, characters for Kings of War, for maybe most or a few of the races?
Well, Kings of War, funnily enough, I'm about to paint an entire army that was made by the same guy that sculpted my miniatures, and I'm painting this army for him to use in his Kickstarter, which will be at the end of next month, I think, or end of February, start of March.
Keep teasing that Kickstarter.
And yeah, so he has. As far as Well, would you elaborate? What is it exactly you'd be after? I know where you say characters for Kings of War heroes and leaders, but yeah, I mean, what sort of is there any particular hero, or are you thinking?
Yeah, let us
Oh,
know
which
in the chat, like, well, what sort of races or characters are you thinking of?
Mhm.
You know, and get the ideas flowing.
Yeah, I mean, I do eventually. The long-term plan is to produce sprues, plastic sprues, that would have on them each sprue. You could make half a dozen, depending how they're armed. You know, Bondi and or Skulls. You know, female thrown into each sprue as well, so you could have Shield Maiden. So we do have long-term for those that do want to actually make armies from it, but we need the support first. You know, we've got to grow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that is eventually we do wish to make, but you know, you're talking to have a sprue made, you're probably looking at about 10 grand. So, yeah, for all in, it's not a cheap production cost. And it might be cheap to churn them out, but they're bloody expensive.
Yeah. Hey,
That's
Elston.
the reason why Games Workshop do their pricing model. Why you can get a certain amount of minis seem to be a fraction of the cost for your basic rank and file compared to your character. There's 20 quid for one mini, you know,
Yeah.
and you think it's a tiny little sprue, and you think, how's that worth it? Well, it's because there's only going to sell X amount of those minis, but you know, 20 times more of the rank and file over time. So it's about how they pay for those costs.
Yeah.
So.
Also, I'm just gonna say, hey, Josh Gooch, I did see you pop in before, but I didn't get a chance to say hello to you. So thanks for joining us as well. Yeah, so
Oh,
thank you
Elston's popped
everyone.
on as well. Sorry, Elston, didn't
Yeah,
see you down
Elston
there, mate.
just
Hello.
popped in, and Gary Knox as well. All legends. Thank you everyone so much for being here for the show. So I hope you're all well, you're all keeping safe, and yeah, we're going through this Sons of Odin collection with the infamous Adam Dodge of Pagan Miniatures, and we've already seen the Varga, which are kind of like werewolves, but they don't shapeshift. They're more like just bipedal wolves who are really peed off, and they come in all various shapes and sizes, and they look absolutely excellent. And we've just been going through the Norse themed Sons of Odin as well, and again, some fantastic sculpts here. And we also got a Kickstarter exclusive here, which is the creators, which you've mentioned were sculpted to
Yeah, well,
represent you and your missus.
yeah, my hair's a bit shorter. Obviously, when it was sculpted, it was my mohawk was a lot shorter then.
Yeah.
Put it this way, I didn't have a hairband in it. But yeah, you can see if you look closely. Yep, it's basically a topless version of myself.
Very, very smexy.
Yeah, and yeah, and well, as you've seen, Sarah is very well endowed. So yeah, yeah, that's actually
Pretty accurate.
yeah, it's pretty accurate, isn't it, love?
Yeah.
So,
I'm
yeah.
slightly more toned as a Shield Maiden, obviously.
But yeah, no, it's so yeah, they were Kickstarter exclusives. They're the sort of things Kickstarters. They'll be on Kickstarters. They'll be available in limited numbers at trade shows, but generally from the store, no, they're not. They're just the sort of thing, you know. It's if you aren't able to back this or the previous Kickstarter, you're not going to be able to get them unless you happen to come to a Salute or ChillCon or something. Assuming we're allowed out to play again, who knows? But
Well,
yeah,
who knows?
uh,
That noise was just somebody subscribing. Sorry. So thank you very much, Mike Hen. As I haven't seen you in the chat, but you know, don't be shy to leave a message, mate. Thank you so much for subscribing. So there you go. You're working your magic, man.
yeah. So right, do we have anything else? Yeah, we have
We have the
the
troll,
yes, the mountain. Yeah,
the big,
Mountain Yota. Yeah.
yeah,
So
the
like I
big
said, not
furry-bellied guy. I mean, he does need a bit of a trim there. Isn't he worried
yeah.
about lice?
Well, to be fair, and I mean this one. Spud was great. He actually sent some nudes across for us to model this particular one on. So we've got our very own Spudalicious in Troll form. No, he's great now. He's a big mid. I've got any to hand. I haven't, but he's like about that big. So, you know, he's quite well, or if you're Elston, that big.
Or, you know,
so proportionally,
is
yeah.
it like, you know,
yeah,
is
he's
it,
a
is
big
it
guy.
the old that's
Yeah. Well, he's a big guy. He's eventually going to be part of a family of them eventually. So there will be a mummy one, an older one leaning on his staff, and maybe a young one dragging his staff. And yeah, so there's going to be a few of them. Bazooka, what a lovely pair. Yeah.
How you doing, Backhawk? Hope you're well.
On the Kickstarter exclusive, right?
Well, I think he was talking about the Kickstarter exclusive. Yes,
Yeah,
at some
pair
point.
of us.
The pair of us,
I'm
yeah.
definitely pair of
Yes,
both of us.
yes, the pair of you.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
I know
yeah,
he's talking
yeah.
about my boobs.
Hey,
Mini me's boobs.
yeah, yeah. So
Mature
anyway,
as
sorry,
always.
yeah, but yeah, obviously everyone's got to have a big troll, so there's going to be loads more in the future with him. He's going to be an STL file available on the Kickstarter.
I like the
So
big old schnoz on the face as well.
yeah, well, right. As for the Kickstarter, now the previous Kickstarter was back in March, where we managed to get everything funded along with the stretch goals we've already been through. It was only physical format minis, so yeah, the biggest guys sort of been produced sort of in cheaper materials, sort of printed out with resin. But all the main guys have been metal cast. Now, we had loads of people asking during, loads of people asking since, because 3D printing is getting bigger and bigger, and people have asked about that. So we decided that the next Kickstarter, we will run everything alongside. So you can back for the physical minis or back for the files if you do your own printing. Always recommend. Yeah, I mean, I print my own, but I do recommend if you can buy them, better quality. So it's worth the extra expense. But you know, it's. I mean, each to their own. And I am a cheapskate. I will print loads of minis myself. So yeah, no. So we will be. But then I was like, well, yeah, let's get this range out there. So we're hoping now to be launching. Basically about 8 o'clock next Friday. We're hoping to.
There you go.
So yeah, if it all goes well in time, and that will be absolutely everything for our first two ranges, which we will be releasing as STL files. The initial stretch goal, just past funding, will provide two options of each file, because that will then get them all pre-supported as well. So for every mini you get, you'll get both its normal file and one with supports. If you're not a fan of, I mean, I know a lot of people. I always prefer to do my own, but I know a lot of people would rather just stick them on a plate and get them printed out. The Kickstarter exclusive pair, myself and Sarah, will be available exclusive. The files will be available on that Kickstarter, but those files will never be available again after that. Yeah. Both the Jotnar will be on there as well. Skull on the Mountain Jotnar. And hopefully, once we got them supported, there'll be a couple more stretch goals. So there will be Group 1I. There will be the Norse Elf, the weapons pack with hands and that. And also, if you're going for the all-in pledge, so you're going for both, you will get what's now on screen, which is a speeder hut, it's a small thing. Now, this can fit on a resin plate as well. I have a Mars Pro, which is roughly a 200mm sort of length. I can't remember its width, but it will fit on one of them. It's not a huge building. As you can see, it's just a tail end of a longboat.
Yeah.
You can imagine it, a broken ship onshore. Speeder thought they'll make the most of that. They live out in the wild, so he's made himself a hut out of it. It's a lovely little thing.
It looks absolutely characterful. It's a lovely.
Yeah, I mean, eventually we do want to be doing more scenery. So yeah, so that's just a little teaser for the sort of thing.
Imagine marketplaces, regular hovels, a
Yeah.
longhouse.
Well, the
what's-
scenery I want to be doing, it's going to be sort of have options where. So if you take an A-framed house, so they're your little triangle houses, which are very common in the Dark Ages, used by most, where the people were Picts or Norse or Saxons. A lot of them you had them. But when it comes to the Kickstarter, that you can either download it just as the A-frame if you're just into the historical, or there'll be the fantasy elements that you can attach onto it for printing out, which would say lift it up and we give it, say, a nice stone base, look a bit more Skyrim-y.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean. I have a few little extras you can stick on, so there will be stuff like that in the future. But yeah, no, for now we thought we'd stick a little teaser on the Kickstarter. So there's 3 pledges. If you're just after the Varga, the nine of them, you can pledge for £15 and get all the files through that. If you're just after the Vikings, you can pledge £25 to get the 19 Vikings through that. Or you can go for the £40 all in, which is both of the previous 2, plus the Mountain Yacht now, plus Skull, plus the Kickstarter exclusive pairs, myself and Sarah, and plus the Speeder House and any of those stretch goals, so like Rook One Eye and Norself will all be added into that all-in pledge. So 40 quid. If you've not got a printer but you know someone who does, it makes sense to join in because it'll probably cost you 10 quid. Giving your mate 10 quid to print out that entire range.
Unfortunately, I don't have a printer myself, and I live nowhere near anyone who does, which is a shame, really, because I'd be buying that up in a jiffy.
Well, that's okay. I mean, all of those minis were available on the 200 quid pledge. So, we can come to an agreement, maybe 200. I mean, obviously the pledge manager's shut now, but say 250, and I might sell them to you. No, I'm sure we can work something out, Kev. But yeah, so that's that. It's looking at we're looking at
find a replacement car first.
Yeah, well, like I said, we're looking at launching this time next week. We should be launched. So
sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So where will we be able to find out when that drops?
Obviously, I'll be if you follow Pagan Miniatures on Facebook and Instagram, it'll be advertised there. Our website's currently down at the moment because we've just closed it while we're dealing with shipping out the previous pledge. The website will be up and running, but not for about another 5-6 weeks. So yeah, the best place at the moment is Facebook. Or follow the Chilean Wargamers because there's a whole host of guys in the network, and a lot of them are giving me shout outs and stuff like that. Well, good guys that got each other's backs. So
exactly.
Yeah,
we all rib each other now and then, but we all got each other's backs.
There will be plenty links getting sent about. There will be, but yeah, give the page a like if you don't already. Go like Pagan Miniatures on Facebook. Give it a follow because it will be announced on that. There'll be, I will be advertising various 3D printing groups and such, and fantasy, pages, miniature pages and stuff. But yeah, the best place if you follow the main page, that's where you get the most information on it. So yes, and I'm glad everyone seems to like the speeder hovel as well. So that was a bit of an exclusive here on this show.
So, see here.
I've showed that off on Facebook. Yeah, I've been waiting to show that off here. It will be getting shown off during the week now, but you got to have the exclusive. So yeah, and so that's the plan.
So yeah, no, I mean that you got some amazing like sculpts there. Some of the concepts as well are absolutely amazing as well. And I mean, what can I say? If you haven't already, go check out Pagan Miniatures on Facebook, where they'll show off their range as well. And once that shop opens, hop over there and bloody get yourself. If you don't know someone who has got a printer, then buy one yourself if you've got this cash. And I'm sure it's a sound of investment.
There's loads of companies. There are a lot of people have 3D printing companies. If you Google it, you're bound to find some in your area. Where you can send your files out, they print them out. Probably, I don't know, maybe cost you 30 quid maybe to get everything printed. If you were to go in all in, I don't know, I don't really want to quote, but it's probably not going to cost you much. Obviously, if you've got a mate to do it, he'll probably do it for a tenner. So,
Well, I have
yeah,
no
which-
idea how much it costs to run one of those things. But Mythos was saying Spud and Elston have printers. Elston can't buy minis this year. I'm sure you could come to an arrangement, Gav. So I assume that when you get STL files, there's is there something that you agree to that stops you from selling them on, or is there a limit
yeah,
to how many you can, how much you can use it, or?
they're for personal use only. When people have merchants, you actually pay for a merchant license sort of on a monthly basis with the guys to do that. We're not bothering with a merchant's license solely because we actually make the physical minis. That would just be undercutting ourselves.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be offering the merchant tiers. But yeah, as for yourself, it's obviously you can't be the legal ways around. You can't be printing them and selling them on because you need a merchant's license for that. You can have them for personal use, print off as many as you want. Obviously, if you would paint a couple for a mate, give them as a gift or something, that's
Yeah,
that's not
you're not making commercial gain on it.
yeah, exactly. So it's just one of those things. Unfortunately, it's I've already found one who'd managed to get a copy of the Norse Elf about 6 months ago and was selling that on a little shop on Etsy, which had to get a quick cease and desist. But yeah, it is possible. People do it, but you always know that. Unfortunately, the community is great because most people say, "Hey, how come he's selling this?" Because people are paid for these, and when people buy these and they're only for personal use, you think, well, that's you almost feel like that IP is part of yours. I know I do with certain things, and if I think there's a smaller company and someone's trying to rip them off, I'll be like, no.
Yeah.
So this is people tell you. Do you know what I mean?
The time and resources invested in
Yeah, that's it.
designing them and making the physical copies, and then deciding to go have the STL route as well for more accessibility.
Yeah, and for us as the small companies, it's not possible without the people that support us and that buy into it. That we are forever grateful for, and at the same time, because, like I said, it almost becomes in a way like it's their IP as well. It's like people know that it is only a small niche crowd that have it, so people kind of want to feel that loyalty. I know that's always how I've been with the smaller companies, and I know that's how people sort of have been with me in return. It's just how people do. It's it's you kind of don't want people milking off something that you've helped to create,
Yeah,
So
100%. Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, what can I say? It seems like it is heading that way. Like obviously, there's going to be always a demand for a physical copy of miniatures. Because it's just quicker to just get it from the shop, open up a box, build it. And you don't have that startup cost of getting a printer and the materials to build, run it and that. But it does seem like more and more people in the community are making that investment, and it's good to see that there's various options as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, at the moment, there's ways you could do it. If you get, I mean, you don't need to get a 10 gram printer. I mean, I've got a Mars Pro now. It doesn't churn out as good quality as cast, but I've got minis I've painted from my range that still people are like, well, that's good enough detail for me. Do you know what I mean? So if you can do it, it's definitely worth it because it's a lot cheaper. There might be, I think you can get a Mars Pro now for about 240 maybe, so it's not too expensive. If you can get that initial buy-in. What I will say is worth spending a bit of money on the resin. You can get basic Lego resin for about £35 for a litre.
Right.
But if you were to get dental resin, there might be about £60 for a litre, which is twice as much. But the details are almost twice as good. It's worth, if you can, to spend that. And don't forget, a litre is going to get you a few hundred minis. You're going to get a lot for your money. So You know, depending what you print out. Well, maybe not a few hundred mountain yachtnars, but you know, if you just churn out your Vikings, you get a fair few. Like,
well, one thing that I always notice is that whenever whenever you see people print stuff out, there's a lot of scaffolding going on, and all I think is how much of that resin is wasted, on just scaffolding, and like,
yeah,
is there not a
for
way of melting it back down and adding it back to the pot, or is that's it? Once it's cured, it's in the
yeah,
bin?
well, it depends. I mean, my supports I tend to use are only they're 2 millimeter to start with, but then they thin right out.
Hmm.
So it looks worse than it is. When you see them off the bill plate with all the sports, it looks like there's a huge amount there, but actually, it's probably like you. If you were to paint a torso, a full body human, you probably used a full body human and a leg's
Yeah.
worth of resin. You're going to throw away about 15% of it at the end of the day on your supports, But like I said, the amount you still get for it.
Yeah, it's an investment in long run, really, and it's all about making that savings in the long run as well, and having the option as well, like because I'm sure, like, like doing printing out your own scenery and stuff like that, or um
Well,
your own
that,
little bits for
that's
conversions and stuff, that gives more
yeah,
flexibility to the hobby as well.
yeah. I mean, it's like I know. So for all the 40K players, when they want to go a bit unique, Anvil Industries is
Mm.
one they go to. Well, I've got a load of Anvil Industries files because they also have a Patreon, so you can back them. So you can print it off of your own. And that saves, it's a fraction of the price then.
Yeah.
So there's plenty patrons. Once you get a 3D printer, there's loads of guys, including the sculptor Dan from Liontown Miniatures, where you're backing them for 8 to 12 quid a month,
Yeah.
and you're getting anything from half a dozen to 30 minis for your money each month from these guys. So, you back 2, 3 patrons, you will have more minis than you could ever paint without ever going out to a shop.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
mean, that sounds, yeah.
yeah, Elston levels of painting.
Yeah.
You know,
What I mean, like, he's like on a completely different level to everyone else. He's just sort of goes in the zone, just like done. Next army, like, it's,
it's not right. Mate. His poor family is still sat waiting to open their Christmas presents.
I
It's
know,
not
right?
right. No, he's just ignored them for a month doing Necrons.
Yeah,
So,
terrible. The poor family.
yeah.
Right, so I think we've pretty much covered everything, haven't we? So as you said, you've got the Kickstarter hopefully coming soon, and you also, you're right, buddy. Sorry, my oldest son has just come down. Are you right, bud? Yeah. Oh, okay. Here you go, buddy. You all right? Yeah. All right. You have a good night, buddy. He looks so confused. That's him. So yeah. So you were saying. Oh no, that's just blown my mind now. Sorry. Where were we at again? Oh yeah, your Kickstarter. Hopefully next week,
Mm-hmm.
and the shop within a week, within a month. Did you say?
About 5 to 6 weeks, because what I'll do is once that Kickstarter is done, take a couple of weeks for the money to come through for that. I'll then be posting out the previous Kickstarter plus sending all the files out for this one.
Yeah.
So that'll be sort of through March. I have put in April expected files by April on this current Kickstarter. You'll have it all by April, but in reality, it's probably going to be March. I've done that just in case. For whatever reason, there's massive delays, but there shouldn't be. Not because, like I said, most of the files are ready. Well, in fact, all the files are ready, including some of the stretch goals. It's only if we were to go beyond that and create extra stretch goals, there might be another couple of sculpts needed. So yeah, so that'll be that, and it will be once we've started shipping. Actually started to post the parcels out from the Kickstarter. The last few minis are now been sculpted, casted up now. So we should hopefully have them in the next sort of 2 to 3 weeks anyway, and we can start the process of shipping. But once it's all done, that's when the web store will open. The only reason we've closed it is because we offered a late pledge, so to chance to jump in on the Kickstarter at the Kickstarter prices rather than the full retail prices. So we did that, but now we've actually closed it because we need to give everyone their miniatures before we open up to just general sales. But as soon as it is, again, if you follow Pagan Miniatures on Facebook, it will be announced all over the place that we're up and running. There's bound to be a discount code or two when we relaunch the store. So we'll be any shout outs for that.
So I'm just going to try and. Sorry, it's all lagging up now. Here we go. Right, I'm just going to pop the link to your Facebook page down. There we go. So everyone can see it. Right, and there we go. So sorry about all the flickering going on there. It's literally just because I had to get a separate thing, otherwise, separate window going. Otherwise, you see everything going on behind the scenes, like you did for the moment there. There we go. We're back. So, oh my God, I've just double clicked on something else. So we might end up with word opening. So you know what, right? To be fair, we went almost to 2 hours without anything going wrong, right? And then it was literally me meddling that made it go wrong.
Yeah,
so, there we go.
Yeah, and I've waffled so much we haven't even covered the main topic of the show, which is breaking out the Games Workshop bubble. So yeah,
well, I think we've been covering that actually along the way while we've been
yeah, we'll have to do another show sometime and get that covered.
You know what? It's just because you had so much to show off, and yeah, there's just so much to go on as well. There was so much. Yeah, it was just showing those minis on their own made the show essentially. That's it. I can't really fault it. So yeah, thank you so much for being on the show and for showing off your work, and for me finally breaking the show. But yeah, and no, I really do appreciate it. So I hope everyone in the chat had fun. If you got any last minute questions, throw them in now, or forever hold your peace. At least
you can't ask things like that. There's just going to be things like, where do babies come from? You can't ask us like that.
Yeah, Mythos. That's what incognito mode is for. Just.
I just read that. Yeah, Mythos, did you see the start, mate? I thought I was on a completely different show. I'm sorry about that, buddy. You've got my t-shirt on. So.
So oh, what's your favourite biscuits?
That's a toughie.
That's an Elston original right there, isn't it?
Fox's Crunch Crisps, I think, probably.
Yeah. So I reckon you've definitely got a good few new pledges in that group today. Yeah, because I mean, like Raven's Rook is saying, like, he loves your passion for your work, so he can't wait to pledge. And I know Mythos has already like bulk bought a buttload, but I'm sure he'll be interested in getting some more.
Yeah, he knows he's got an even bigger box he thought coming his way, and yeah, he's got bloody Mr. Pickles got my entire range coming his way soon, and yeah, quite a few other guys. Yeah, pretty much everyone that can remembers the name of my company has had minis now off me. So, yeah.
Not awkward at all. To be fair, it was a perfect way of not forgetting again, right? I haven't had a single yet.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, well,
it's got nothing to do
no,
with actually having the company name under your name as well.
yeah. Yeah, well, at least, like I said, I've already said I'm sorting you out. Anyway, you'll get a couple, so you get to do a stream with some
I
at
mean,
some point. Anyway.
yeah, you did. That's, I mean, that's amazing of you. So thank you so much. I look forward to working with those.
Yeah,
And
I'll get it
getting some
posted
more.
this week because I've also got 2 other parcels to post this week. I've got one for Spud and one for Rich, who's
Ooh,
to Rich. Rich
second
is
Christmas.
working on a top secret project, which is going to be super sexy.
What is it?
So, that's the I've told you.
Elston's asked, when is the Atlantis minis next Kickstarter? Well, you're gonna have to ask them, aren't you?
Yeah, Elston's. Well, to be fair, he probably doesn't realise it's me on because he can't actually see the screen on his. You know, he's left his laptop on the table and he's not got his steps to get up there and
His
see it.
steps have gone missing. They're on
Yeah,
wheels, and now and then the dog just
if you're
like
going to confuse
drags them
me
off.
with anyone, yeah, if you're going to confuse me with anyone, that's a very flattering one to be confused with because his stuff's amazing.
It was a momentary brain fart, though. That's the thing, right? I knew you were Pagan Miniatures, but for some reason it just would not come to my head. And
Well, the clue was the fact that it was the category of people in the network, and there's only 2 people that don't have YouTube channels in the network. One makes paintbrushes, and the other is the only one that makes miniatures. So when the question is who in the network had a Kickstarter, yeah,
I think you missed a
uh,
certain mod from the pickle lot.
So anyway, yeah, but that's my favourite biscuits. I don't know when Atlantis are next launching. Um, yeah, but yeah, that's it. So yeah, if everyone's done,
Yeah,
I'm really glad to have been on your show.
I
Kev.
Sure.
specifically came here to tell you all my favourite biscuits.
Oh right, okay. So what's your favourite
what's your
biscuit?
favorite?
Fingers.
Sorry,
Oh,
what?
you would the ultimate innuendo biscuit. You would come out with something like that.
No, chocolate
fingers.
chocolate fingers. Yeah, because you can dip them in your tea and suck off the chocolate. I just realised.
So
Right.
it wasn't us in the end, right? It was the missus.
I told you, didn't I? I was telling you this the other day. I just
Filth, absolute
Sorry.
filth. By the way, my favourite is a chocolate hobnob for the same reasons. You dip it and lick off the chocolate.
yes, yes.
Coming to OnlyFans soon. Sarah licking chocolate off of. Yeah. Right. Anyway.
Anyway, thank you so much for joining us on the show, and to both of you as well. Is both an honor and a privilege, and it's been amazing going through you know, like the whole concept of going from drawing to miniature, and yeah, and showing them off, and there's such amazing work. And I know, like, you were busy waffling away, but I did show off your paintwork as well, your
Oh,
Oscars,
did you?
and yeah, so everyone saw them, and I think everyone was pretty impressed with them as well. So
Oh, thanks, guys.
there you go. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for tuning in. As always, you know where to find me. I'm live every Friday at 8 p.m. I also do a video. I'll try to do a video once a week. Normally it's out by the Tuesday, so look out for that. The next one is going to be just an overhaul of the Mortal Realm stuff that I've done, like, but I'm cheating because it's basically stuff already painted. And yeah, ignore Elston. Naughty. And yeah, as always, there are links in the description below for ways of supporting the channel. So if you want to buy me a coffee, just drop a few quids on the Streamlabs donation tab or whatever. Go ahead. The best way though is go through Element Games, because you get yourself discount stuff, and I get a kickback as well at no extra cost to you. And I've got a little code there, so you get bonus loyalty points as well. I can't wait for the days when your minis pop up on Element Games. That'd be pretty cool.
Hey, and who knows? If you ever reach 1,000 subs, I might even sponsor you.
Well, there you go. Share this video. So there you go. If you ever needed an incentive to help me get 4 wheels, then so yeah. As always, yeah, you know where to find me on social media, but links are there. Fantastic Facebook groups there as well, and links to the Chilling Wargamers Network, which of course we are both a part of, and very proud members, and about half of the chat as well. So so yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. It's been amazing, it's been a privilege. I'm so thirsty for a wee, that's why I'm checking out, because I had 2 mugs of drink, so stupidly. And I thought I'd be talking a lot, that's why I had all the drink, but ended up you were talking for more of the time and you didn't even have a drink. So anyway,
I did. I've still got it.
Oh,
It's
you
my Iron
still
Brew.
Iron Brew. I had that the other night. It was like
I'm in
nectar.
Scotland from Gardas.
Scotland, we have Iron Brew with our cereal.
Please stop doing accent.
You bastard Englishman. You bastardizing our accents. Alright, well, anyways, have a good night, everyone, and to the Dodgers as well. And yeah, I'll see you lot in the next one. So, ta-ra for now.
Let's go, guys.
Right, I'm just gonna leave the sound on for lols. But yeah, just because if I put music on, the whole thing's gonna crash, and that was fun.
You can't have that.
Oh, I haven't got my guitar on me. See, we could have done it way out.
Oh, you
Faded out. See,
Heartbeat corner, Kev. He's a Kev in the corner doing heartbeat.
Oh, no. No. We're not writing him a song yet. He hasn't hit 1,000 subs.
Harsh times.
That is gonna kick you in the ass later on, right? When he hits 1,000, and then you got to sponsor him.
Oh yeah, but we've got a couple of years before that, so you know.
Well, I mean, you say that, right?
Are you gonna
I'm
take
still
that?
making gains, even though
What you want now? What you want now? Is it 200 and?
I'm almost at 900.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're gonna.
Yeah, Pickles had his turn. It's my turn now. So everyone subscribe if you like. I'm not gonna force you, but
I'll tell you what.
do it to see the egg on Dodge's face.
Yeah, but that means
No. I'll wait until you're on 999, and then I will subscribe and laugh.
why aren't you already subscribed?
Yeah, why aren't you subscribed already?
Are you subscribed to me?
Have you got a YouTube channel?
Does that matter?
Well,